Hello everyone. Today we look at rest of the chapter 3 to 5. So I'm going to start with the rectangle tool again. So we have covered fillet and chamfers. So I'm going to discuss rectangle tool again. So we'll start the rectangle tool. So when we start the rectangle tool, you get this chamfer and fillet option. Now you already know what is fillet and what is a chamfer. So I will quickly draw a rectangle with the filleted corner. So I can select the method fillet, then you can give the fillet radius say around 2. Then I can the first corner, and when you give the second corner, when this rectangle is big enough, you will see the filleted corners, round corners. So when the rectangle is small, it's not going to be created, and you can use these other options available as we discussed earlier to make the rectangle. Now here every corner has the same radius, so we don't have much control here, but it's faster than the normal fillet tool. So similar fillet, we have the chamfer method. When we discuss the chamfer method, here we get the distance 2 and the distance again 3. So we don't find the distance angle method with the distance method. So we can get the chamfered rectangle quickly from this, but you can see this is not symmetric, so this side is not symmetric to this side. So there are some weaknesses in this rectangle chamfer tool, the fillet tool. So we have actually covered up to chapter 4 fully now. So whatever I didn't cover, there may be some areas I didn't focus, so don't worry about those things. We are not going to test those things in the exam. Now I'm moving on to chapter 5. Now in chapter 5 we missed some sessions areas, so I'm going to look at this copy tool again. So I discuss with you how to copy in within the same file. So if I want to copy this, you just select this and use the copy tool, and we have displacement and the base point method, and we just need to select a point and copy it to another place. Now suppose if you want to copy between two files, so you want to copy this content to another AutoCAD file, how can we do it? Now we'll open another AutoCAD file for this work. I have opened two AutoCAD files now, drawing 1. So I want to copy some of the content in drawing 1 to drawing 2, so I'll just select this. And now we can't run this command because this command is within the file, so we have to use this within modes and select these copy tools. Now if you cannot see this menu bar, this is called the top bar, is called the menu bar. Normally default settings will not show you this menu bar, so you have to come here and turn this menu bar on. Here normal settings are this. So I'm going to take this new bar called menu bar. So this is actually old AutoCAD tools. The easiness of this one is I have a lot of things as a drop down list, so it's very easy to find the copy tool from here rather than going through this one and trying to find the copy tool from here may be difficult. So here we have these other areas, so we have to go through a lot of, we have to go inside this one and find this when you use the ribbon. Now for example, drawing tools all are listed nicely as a drop down list. Dimensions are nicely listed, so sometimes I may use the ribbon, sometimes I may use this drop down list called menu bars. So here I'm going to use the menu bar because it's going to be easy for me. So we have the copy tool here, copy with base point, copy with link, so we can have a link even. So cut tools also working, so I'll just select the copy tool. Now it's copied. Now here I can come to this file and paste. Now here when we paste it, you see my base point is not picked up earlier, so the software will decide the base point. Now the base point is in the left bottom corner, so I copied the content. Now the content is not acting as a block, but there's another tool called copy with paste as block. So now here it's acting like a block. Here these are individual elements. So if you want to explode this block, we have explode command here. Now it's exploded into pieces. So when we copy again, say I want to copy this area, you can select the content and run the command, or run the command and select the content. There's another tool. If you want to change the base point, there's a tool called copy with base point. Now I can select the base point as somewhere here. I selected. Now I'm going to the next file and paste as a block on just normal paste. Normal paste also, you can see my cursor now is nicely on that base point. So I have the control here. Now the base point was here. Now when you paste as a block, see my base point is here now. Earlier my base point was there, so I have a control. Now if you want to copy paste between the files, these commands are easy, or else you can use the shortcut keys control C and control X, control V. Those kind of shortcut keys are also available, so remember those easy techniques in AutoCAD. Now offset tool we already discussed, so I showed you these kind of parallel lines can be obtained, or concentric circles can be obtained, or even concentric arcs can be obtained from the offset tool. So you can draw these things and see whether these are working. So I didn't go through this example, you can try that. Now we have scaling tool. So in AutoCAD sometimes we may use scaling tool to scale down or scale up our drawings. So for an example, if I want to scale this up, say 2 times, we can run the scale tools. One way is you can select the tool and select the content, or you select the content and run the tool. So there are lot of ways. Now I select the base point. Now scaling happens. So if I want to get a scale factor, you can just say 2 times. It's going to be scaled up to 2 times. And if you want to have a copy and scale, just select this base point again. So I can scale up like this. Even depending on the base point selection, it will scale up in different manner. And we have a copy tool here. Say I have to scale down 0.5. So this is scaling tool. So you see it's not a big issue in AutoCAD. But when we discuss Revit classes, we don't scale up or scale down our drawings. We use one-to-one drawings in Revit classes, but in AutoCAD you may do it. You may scale down or scale up. So we discuss these tools, chamfers, fillets. Then trimming tools also we discuss. Extending tool we discuss. Stretching tool. So we look at this one now. How we stretch a part of a drawing. So I'll just draw that shape. So still you can see the fillet command is in the memory. So chamfer commands, I'll just take a new file. Easy. So I will draw this shape. So without using the rectangle commands, I will just use the line command and draw in order to show you how to get a rectangle quickly. So we can change the 90-degree ortho modes and click. So just come here and get the reference in lines and close this like this. Then we can use line command. Now 90 degrees still working, so remove this ortho mode. This way we can quickly show this shape. So in this diagram, they have stretched the drawing up to a certain extent. So here, if I want to do that, there's a tool called stretching. So when you run the stretching tool, it will ask you to select the object. Now if you select these two and press enter and try to stretch, it's not going to work. It's like moving. Now when you run the stretch tool like this, when select this thing and select this thing and select this and enter, still it's going to move. Now in some software like SolidWorks, you don't have this problem. When you select this one and this one, you can stretch, but in AutoCAD it's not going to work that way. In my theory slide, I have mentioned how to do this. You have to use this window method to select these two lines. So if I just select this way, it's not going to be selected. You can see if I select this way, all the three selected, and when I run the stretching command, it's not going to work. And when I select this way, right to left selection, it will work. Now remember those important selection methods. Now it's going to stretch. So very important. So just use the right to left selection and run the stretch command. It will nicely work. So it depends on the software. So when you use another software, this method may be slightly different, but the outcome is same. So we have a lengthening command even. So if you want to increase your length of a line or an arc, you can use it. Say I'll just do it and show you. Some of the tools actually you try to do by yourself and understand. So there's a lengthening command here. You select the object, you can lengthen by delta amount or percentage or total value. You can go, or else you can give dynamic real-time lengthening also can be done. Select an object to measure. So done. Now you can give a total length, or sorry, we select the method first. I want to increase it by 20%, so you can come here and just select this, so it will increase by 20%. You can see. So you can explore the other methods even. We have delta means you can give that actual value. Say if the original line is 10 centimeters, if I will give delta as 2 centimeters, it will increase by 2 or decrease by 2. Delta can be minus or plus. Percentage also, if you give more than 100, it's increasing. Less than 100, it decreasing. Even total value you can give, or the dynamic real-time stretching can be done. So just do it and see, and if you have any questions related to those, just talk to us. So we only have array tools to discuss. Before discussing array tools, I'm going to look at this blend tool. Blend tool is under chamfers, the blend curves. So the idea here is we can blend two curves using another curve. So I have drawn two curves, and if I want to blend these two with another lines, so I use the spline tool to draw this. So we can quickly draw a spline like this. Press the enter key or enter, and we can draw another splines. I repeat splines. If you have already drawn these things, and if you want to blend this, connect these things and using another curve, one thing is you can come and draw it from the spline tools, or else you use blend curve tool here. You can just select the first line and the second line, so automatically you see blending happens. Going to connect with another third line. So it may not be really useful, but remember there's a tool like that. Early days we didn't have this tool in AutoCAD. If you look at all versions, you didn't have this. So my slides also I don't discuss because some slides are somewhat old. Then we look at array tools. We have basically the first one and the third one are the most important array tools. This is the rectangular array shape, and this is a circular array shape, and this is going along a path. This is also a new addition in Tomcat. Before 2015 you didn't find this tool. So we will first discuss these first and the third one. So we will draw a shape. So I'll just draw a circle shape. You don't need to draw rectangles to run the rectangle tool. I have to get a pattern. So it's the pattern is going through x and y directions, and even in z direction we can get. So rectangular array, select the object. Once you select the object and press enter, it will give you a sample array. Now ribbon changes. So we can increase the number of items by just clicking and dragging. Left click and drag. This way also we can do. So when we do this array changes, you can see this is automatically changing. Now I have 6 columns. Between columns it's 20 millimeters. If I have 15, it will be much more closer now. So I put it to 25. It will increase. So you can increase the number of items, sensors, and between values, or as the total value also you can change. Now when you change, you don't need to change all these 3 parameters. Only 2 parameters need to be changed. Other one automatically will adjust. So we have 3 rows. I increase number of rows, and between rows it's 20. See, we can adjust. And here I have adjusted only x and y directions. Now if you want to adjust the z direction, it can be done. When you increase number of levels, it's going through z direction. Now I can't see what's the change. So if you go to home view, you can easily see the levels coming. So if I have level 1, it's only x and y direction. You can increase number of levels like this and get a 3D shape. And it says here, so if you finish this, just press the close button, and it says associative means there's a connection between the parent and the children. Now I do this one, first one, parent, and I had some children instances. So we have association between these parent and the children. If you deassociate it, you will not you cannot later edit the array. So if I just close this and come back and click on the array, you can get the ribbon back, because I asked the software to have association. Now I can change the columns and rows again easily, without any problems, because I have the association. And if you don't have the association, what will happen now? This is like a group. This is like a group. You are getting the association back, and some more settings are coming up. We'll discuss all these settings later. Now if you want to remove one item, this cannot be done easily. So one way is you can come here and explode the array. So when you explode the array, individual entities can be edited, but you can't get the array properties back. So it's not actually an array now. It's like individual cases. Now what do you mean by deassociation? Say if I just quit again, select the item parent. Now if you say deassociate and close the array, now it's not an array anymore, it's individual instances, so you can delete them. You can't get again the array properties and change these number of columns or rows or other settings. So please remember, by default it's associative, but if you want, you can change it to deassociative. Now I'll just use a rectangle and show another example. I'll increase number of rows 4, and I say associative. And here there is a tool called base point. Right now the base point is in the middle of the parent. So if you want, you can change the base point here. Now when I change the base point to here, it's in the corner, and press close array. Now my holding point is here. If I want to move the array, this is easy for me now. If you want to change the base point again, now editing comes back, change the base point to here, the center of the rectangle. Now press close array, base point is here. So this is important when you want to drag something here and there. So I hope you understood. So the base point normally comes in the middle of the first parent, middle of the parent. But if you want, you can change this into other places without any problems. Now there are some more editing comes up. We have a tool called edit source. Source is this guy. So if you want to edit this first guy, suppose these are windows and somebody comes and asks you to draw a middle pane, so you can just edit the source, and once you, I'll do it again. If somebody wants to change your array, you come here and edit the source, and now select the array, select the element. This is the element to edit. Now it will give you this message: the source object of associated can be edited while in an array editing mode. Enter array close to exit the array editing case. Just press OK. Now I can come here and do a change, say like this, and enter. So everyone will get the same editing. Now I have to come here and save these changes. Now my array was changed to another shape, so everyone will get the same shape. So this is really easy when it comes to a big design. So if you have done a big design and everywhere you have to change this pattern, so edit source is really easy. And you have a reset array button to reset the array back to normal settings. Now here it's not working, but I'll show you how it works later. We have another tool called replace items. So I will reset this, I will edit this again to a normal rectangle. Just delete this. Everyone will get that change. Save. Now if somebody wants to replace some of the rectangles by a circle, how can we do it? So we have to draw that shape separately. And now I want to change this rectangle into a circle. One way is you can come here and explode the thing. But when you explode the thing, you can delete this and draw a rectangle manually, but sorry, circle manually. But it's not going to work because you are losing array properties. So here we have another settings coming up called tool coming up for replace items. Now select replacement object. Say I want to replace this, and I want to replace by this guy. Enter. Now the base point, you have to match the base points, and it says select an item you have to replace. So you can just select this. From this tool we can easily replace whatever we like and press enter. It's okay. Now this tool was replaced, this circle was replaced, the rectangles were replaced by a circle. So you see it's vanished. So you can do it and see again. If I want to reset the array, just reset to first shape. Now what I did was select the array, go to the replace items object tool, just select the item, select replacement object, just select this, enter. Now after you enter this, you have to match the base point. Now this center of the rectangle is matched by the center of the circle. If you select somewhere like a quadrant here, it's going to be different. Now the circle comes here, so it's going to match the rectangle center to quadrant of the circle here. So that's why the circle is shifted a little bit. So you can just finish this, and if you want you can reset. So those are the settings available under rectangular arrays. Similar to rectangular arrays, circular arrays also has the same properties. We will go through this in a while. Now we'll look at circular arrays. So I will just delete this. So I just draw a rectangle again, and I want to have circular pattern. So you don't need to draw a circle to run the circular array. So we will run this polar array. It says select the object, enter, and now it says specify the center of a point or the base point or the axis of rotation. Now I normally we give center of the array, so it may be origin, it may be a selected point. So when I select this as the center, array forms. Now it says 6 instances, gap between instance are 100, sorry, 60 degrees. So if you want to have unfilled array like this, can be done. Just select the less than 360 degrees. And if you want to have some rows, you have this kind of a row can be generated. Between the rows I can change the gap, and I can have the levels like 3D, and it says associative. Base point method is also available. So we have discussed all these things, and in apart from that we have rotate items. If I just do this, you see having the original orientations, not taking the curve. Now we have another one called direction. Direction is either you can go clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. So settings are simple. So I hope you understood the polar basic settings. So now when it comes to editing, you have the same set of editing tools. So you can edit the number of rows, number of items, levels, rotate item, base point, edit source. So same settings available. So you can just go through those things and see what's coming up. So replace tool is there, edit source is there, same settings. But I will show you another important tool in polar array. So when we start the tool, say select object, enter, it says axis of rotation. So what is this? Axis of rotation is different from center point. So axis center point, I just gave the center point and you got a 2D polar array. So axis of rotation is somewhat different. So if you just give axis like this, I'll just give a perfect horizontal axis, you will get an array, polar array, but that shape is different from the early array. So if you just look at these settings are same, and close the array, you have array, you can't see it. The problem here is this array is coming out of the screen. Now this is like a 3D array, so you see this is like this. Now early array was different. The early array was a 2D array. So if I just do it here, you can clearly understand what I'm saying. Polar array, just give this, enter, center point somewhere here. This is 2D array. Now this is like a 3D array. Okay, so it's going in the z direction now. So it forms in the z direction. So that is the difference between center point and the axis of rotation. So if you see this kind of a diagram in an assignment or a drawing, don't be confused. This is they have used the axis of rotation method. So we have actually discussed the basic two ways of doing the array command. We have a tutorial based on these things. So we will post the videos of the solutions, so you can redo these things. These are easy things, I have done this. So this also use the offset tools and try to do this. We have done this. Try at home these things, and we will post the answers for these two questions. So these two questions has this array tool. So this is like a mechanical part. This is a round table, so it's a dining table. So when you with chairs, these are the chairs. So when you look at from the plan view, what can you see? So that's what we are going to draw. So for the architecture students, I am going to have some house plans in a while. So in the first few days, we are going to look at mechanical drawings, because mechanical drawings are somewhat complex. So we will come up with the tutorial answer. Have a good day. Thank you.